But okay, we're going to move to our final topic of the podcast, and we're going to the place, Mark, that we love to go, get the summer home there.
Yeah.
Kind of look out over Lake Erie. We're going to Cleveland. And the reason why we're back in Cleveland yet again.
We just can't get away. Can't get away from Cleveland.
Johnny Football he's officially done. And
not officially.
No, they said they're going to release him.
He's not official until Monday.
Yeah, well, he's still on the team. They said they're going to release him. The earliest they can release him is Monday. However, the new league calendar starts March 9th. And here's how it works. If they release him, which probably they will because who's going to trade for him, because Johnny Football hasn't played more than 4 seasons in the NFL, he's going to hit a waiver system. And in the offseason, it follows the draft order. I'm going to take you through it. Tennessee, they're going to say, no, we got Marcus. Then, number 2, it skips over Cleveland. Number 3, the Chargers, they're going to say, well, we got Phillip Rivers. Who's sitting there at 4? Jerry Jones, or as I like to call him, Mr. Burns in Dallas, just saying, Smithers. Get me Johnny Manziel.
You know what's funny about this, though, too? If somehow Johnny Manziel got through all 32 teams, or 31 other teams in this case, he can be put on the practice squad. Cleveland can say, biggest slap in the face, congrats, you're on the practice squad now.
You know what's going to happen? This is what I think may happen. If he goes through the entire waivers, knowing just what they do, the Patriots will pick him up, put him on the practice squad like Tim Tebow, let everybody talk about him, and then release him before the season starts, just like they did Tim Tebow.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it'll be really hard to see him get past Jerry Jones in Dallas. I just can't see it happening.
I think he gets paid. The thing that is what Jerry Jones is going to think, though, is do I want to pick up that rookie contract because he's got 2 years left on it, or do I take the risk, see if he goes all the way through the waivers, because there's other teams that could go ahead.
I really don't think anyone's going to take him besides Jerry Jones. I really think he's the only person.
You don't think Houston maybe
Why would they want him?
Up?
No
another
owner,
Texas
no
team?
GM is crazy enough to get this circus on their team.
An owner that is crazy enough is a guy that's moving to L.A., Stan Kroenke, L.A. Rams.
Ooh, you think the Rams go ahead and take football?
It would be interesting to see him in L.A.
Because if we went...
He would probably go absolutely insane and be TMZ's favorite person in the world.
Because let's be honest. If, let's say, Dallas says, no, we're not. Jacksonville, they've got Blake Bortles. The Ravens, we've got Joe Flacco. We're happy. Chip Kelly. Does Chip Kelly maybe try to get the Niners to pull the trigger on him, especially with what you said before we hit the record button, that Kaepernick wants to play with the Jets?
Yeah, for some reason. I mean, Chip Kelly is the coach who will work with Colin Kaepernick, who likes Colin Kaepernick, and he's like, nah, I want to go play for the Jets.
Does Chip Kelly then try to maybe, if, let's say, Manziel falls in the waivers to them, does he say...
If it was just a situation where Johnny Football wasn't playing well, then I say yeah. But with all the off-field issues, I don't think anyone really is going to want him. I mean, maybe if you can really just stash him away on a roster, but you're not going to let this kid start. He's already proven he can't handle it.
I could see the Saints, maybe, and the reason being is we can stash him behind Drew Brees. And this is only if teams don't think like the Goffs, the Lynches, the
You really
Wentzes.
want to trust Johnny Manziel in Louisiana and NOLA?
Okay, true, especially around Mardi Gras time, but that's Super Bowl time, and they're not going to play with Johnny Manziel at Super Bowl time.
Doesn't matter. He's going to do dumb things.
Mardi Gras is technically after the season, so I mean you don't have to worry about that. The Rams at 15.
That's even worse. He's got more time to do dumb stuff.
He's got more time to do dumb stuff, and I mean I'm looking Houston. They're the latest team. Because all the playoff teams are not going to take Johnny Manziel.
You bring up Mardi Gras. It's Tuesday, February 9th this year.
The 10th. Is it the 10th or the 9th?
It's the 9th. Tuesday after the Super Bowl. So instead of maybe going to Disney World, he'll be going to Mardi Gras.
He'll be there no matter what. He doesn't care.
He'll be there.
For sure. No, I just think that there's no team is really going to want to take this risk.
Except the Cowboys.
Yeah, except for them, because the Cowboys don't care about anything.
Well, Jerry Jones is crazy enough.
Jerry Jones wants the circus. He wants the kind of crowd to hate him. He wants to be the heel in a way, which is weird because they're America's team. But he wants to be that bad boy kind of attitude. He likes that type of thing because that's what they had when they were such a good team. Now, they had really good players and they had a lot of things working for them. It's not just that they were bad boys and that's why they were a good team and won Super Bowls.
You want to know something funny? I'm looking at a graphic here from ESPN. Browns first-round picks for the last 5 drafts. Who do you think out of the last 5 drafts who they've selected in the first round, Mark, which player do you think has the most snaps from this past season? Who played the most snaps?
I don't know. I really don't.
I'll give you some hints. It's either Danny Shelton, Johnny Manziel, Barkevius Mingo, or Justin Gilbert.
I don't even. Did Justin Gilbert do anything? Does he still?
Justin Gilbert, 49 snaps last season.
Wow.
So he came in last. Mingo, 234. Manziel, 417. Danny Shelton played the most snaps last season with 487. However, there was 683 NFL players with more snaps than Shelton.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Browns suck at drafting is really what it is. And, it goes to what I constantly say about the Browns. They're going to draft a quarterback. The quarterback's going to be a Browns quarterback. And then in a couple of years, they're going to draft another quarterback. That's all they do. That's all that the Browns do. Will it ever end? Probably not. But it's just sad.
You know who
Eventually
who I think the Browns need to draft at number 2? Carson Wentz. I know that the whole thing is everyone's going, well, Goff is probably going to be the guy. Let's be honest. We have an entire draft process to go through before we decide who's going to go at number 2. But I think when it's all said and done, Cleveland, like Carson Wentz, I like him. So I don't want to see him go to Cleveland because that's where quarterbacks go to die, especially young quarterbacks go to die. But he's the guy that they need to draft is Carson Wentz.
It would be strange to see him jump up over the other quarterbacks. It really would.
Well, he's a guy that, Hugh Jackson can work with. He's a tall, athletic quarterback. He's smart so that he'll actually stay and study the playbook and pick it up quickly. To me, he's NFL ready. The only thing that's the biggest question mark is he played in the FCS.
Yeah.
However,
talent level's definitely
Garoppolo, he hasn't started yet, but Garoppolo played in the FCS. Romo played in the FCS. There have been Kurt Warner went to Northern Iowa. But there are other quarterbacks that have played against weaker foes and have come out on top.
But you have Tony Romo's probably the most popular, the most well-known. And Tony Romo's really the only one that, I don't want to say the only one who's been successful because I don't.
Flacco, too. He went to Delaware State.
So you do have a Super Bowl winning quarterback in that, but it's very rare. It's very hard to find that type of gem. Maybe you have it in here, but part of me kind of feels like it's just going to be another Jimmy Garoppolo situation where it's the coveted backup. It's the guy you want behind your quarterback because you can rely on him if you need him for a few snaps or a game.
I got one more thing in my back pocket I'll throw at you, see if this impresses you.
All right.
He's led the Bison to back-to-back national championships. However, every single year he's been on the Bison, they've won a championship because they've won 5 straight championships.
It's almost like Alabama.
Pretty
of
much.
the FCS.
Of the FCS.
Yeah.
Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah? Everybody loves North Dakota.
If we're comparing him to Alabama quarterbacks, what's his wife looking like?
No,
Good question.
Webb.
Do young boys in Alabama want to go play football there?
That's your job. Looking up Carson Wentz's girlfriend.
You boys want to go. I tell you play football at Alabama, and you're going to get yourself a nice looking lady.
You're Brett Musburger and me.
And then some big breaths.
So from Brett Musburger, but Johnny Manziel, does he fix the problems? I think that's the big thing. Is if we can talk about him going anywhere in the world, but is he going to fix the problems that he needs to fix?
I can't imagine that he does. The guy went to essentially rehab for a while, and nothing really seemed to change. For a little bit, it seemed like it was the right stuff, but it really seemed like it was just something his agent said, hey, why don't you just go hang out and lay low for a little bit? In a few weeks, we'll bring you back out. Everything will be good again. I just don't. I can't imagine anything working out for Johnny Manziel. To me, he's just another one of these, these quarterback busts, essentially. And it's unfortunate because he was good. I was saying that he was more likely to get himself hurt, and that's why his career would end.
RG3 style.
Yeah, exactly. I really thought that's what the big issue was going to be. But turns out it was just that he couldn't handle the NFL. He couldn't handle the fame, which is funny because he fame was his thing, the big money things. Now he's going to be remembered as like Jamarcus Russell, essentially, not being able to handle it. Or, I mean, I guess you could throw Ryan Leaf in there. One of these type of guys.
Well, and here's the you know me. When I get an analogy, Mark, I love my analogies.
When I get an analogy, I love my analogies.
This is the analogy I'm going to use for Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel is that guy in college that partied all the time, was the life of the party. Everyone loved to be around him. Then he graduated with like a business degree, and he's working at like either a startup or like he's still in his hometown doing like real estate. But he goes to the local college, and he's like the 26-year-old that still shows
partying
up, and he's like, "Woo, we're gonna party this weekend." It's like, dude, you graduated like 5 years ago. What are you still doing here? Like the 30-year-old that still shows up to college parties.
Yeah.
That's Johnny Manziel right now. And if I was anyone, I would say that to him and go, "Is that who you want to be?
And
The
yeah, I think it is.
30-year-old that shows up to college parties? Do you want to be Matthew McConaughey?"
I think that is what he wants to be. I really do.
He's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. I agree with you.
From Fast.
He's not ready to grow up.
From Ridgemont High.
I agree. It is Brandon Swanson.
It is.
As Sean is pointing out. That's just Brandon Swanson. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't think he's ready to grow up. I don't think he can handle it. I think he's going to have a great 30 for 30 in, 10 years, probably less than that.
What if I told you that the spotlight was just too high?
Too hot. I think
Too
would work a little
hot,
better.
too high?
Yeah.
What do you got, Sean?
What if I told you with more money came more problems?
Oh, that's a
With
good
more
one.
money
That is a
came
good
more
one.
problems.
And then it's just him flashing the
money
the
signs.
Money Manziel sign. Oh, that's it. That's it. Sean earned his paycheck this podcast.
Also, Carson Wentz, there's nothing official wife status, but if you go to his Twitter, he did
Could have a girlfriend.
he did quote a tweet. It's I think it's along the lines of North Dakota. It's about some girl getting an interview or something, and then he quoted it with the heart eye emoji, and then the praise one. So I mean, not Catherine Webb status. So I don't know, and that might not even be his girlfriend.
That
So
may
It's
not.
just some girl.
that's the closest thing I'm finding.
Maybe it's his sister. Who
Maybe
knows?
it's his sister. But
It's
I
North
mean,
Dakota.
we're not going to get into that now, Mark. But with Johnny
We're
Manziel,
comparing him to Alabama.
let's say he does go to Dallas. Let's say Dallas is the one.
Yeah.
Does Jerry Jones fix him?
No. Oh, God, no. Jerry Jones doesn't do anything. Jerry Jones wants him to be a disaster. Jerry
Because he
Jones
wants
likes
the
that.
reality show.
Yeah, oh, he loves it. And then he's going to, be like, hey, can we please have Hard Knocks? The NFL will go, I don't know. Can we please have Hard Knocks? Please, 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 please. No one else is going to ask.
Yeah.
It'll be you're the teacher. It'll be the teacher situation where that one kid's in the back. He's not even in the seat anymore raising his hand.
Yeah. No,
and then
I
you're
know
like,
those guys.
Anybody?
I know
Anybody?
those guys.
I mean, you're basically putting Johnny Football into Texas, where he's from, and where he's just being
Where
be
he
surrounded
knows
by
where all
Texas.
the party is.
Exactly,
Yeah.
he's going to be close to Austin, and then also in the Hard Knock situation, Buffalo is giving him a run for the money with the Ryan brothers rejoining up in Buffalo.
Oh, man, I hope.
Hard
I hope.
knocks with the Ryan brothers.
Before Rex gets fired.
Before they don't make the playoffs, he's gonna get fired.
Yeah. So he brings his fucking brother in. The guy who's been like, 3 different places in the last 3 years?
Fuck it, one last ride, right?
Yeah, sure.
One last ride.
You know what?
but,
Go out burning. That's what I say.
But you didn't give the last thing I'll ask you before we wrap up the podcast.
Sure.
Where does Cleveland go? You didn't give your answer of what they
Where does
should
Cleveland go?
Where do they go to move on from Johnny Manziel?
They get a quarterback.
Which one, Mark? Which
Goff.
one you leaning? You're leaning towards Goff?
He's number 1 on the board.
He's the one that you also had going in
my
your
mock
latest
draft.
mock draft.
Yeah.
I think I had him going there with mine, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure who I'm going to have going to them in 2.0. I know, like you said, Goff is he's number 1 on the board right now, but it's one of those things of could Wentz be? Because let's be honest, when we were talking midseason, Paxton Lynch was the guy. Oh, he's the guy. He's the one you want. Now it's Goff. As we get further towards the process, does it turn into Wentz?
I kind of feel that Wentz will be the guy who people are most excited about at the end of the first round. Because I think we're going to have all 3 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. And you can see my mock draft to see where I think they're going to go. But I think he's going to be the one that people are most excited about and won't be playing. Not yet.
And let's be honest, I looked at both of ours, Mine was so early in the process that I had them going Joey Bosa at number 2 and not a quarterback. Yours was a month later. You had them going Goff over Paxton Lynch and Carson Wentz. Both of us had the 3 quarterbacks going in the first round. But you can check those mock drafts down below in the description. I want to thank you guys for checking out this podcast today. I also want to thank Sean for being our Tony Reale today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I love having you on podcast, man. You're a blast. You're a hootenanny.
You're a real nice guy, Ricky.
I am
You're
a
real
nice
nice
guy.
guy. Mark's okay.
But
Yeah, that's right.
But you can follow us on Twitter. Sean's at Schwarbo. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Mark is at the Mark Weber with 2 E's. Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. If you're listening to the podcast on SoundCloud, hit that nice heart button. Hit that repost button. It really helps us out. Also, follow us on SoundCloud. If you're on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that easy. Thank you guys again for checking out The Onside Kick. We'll talk to you guys next week. But as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.